Guys, please check your audio and video settings, please. Yeah, yesterday we completed what, guys? Spring AOP. Today, what is the topic we have to discuss? Spring MVC, right now, boss? Okay, first let me prepare the background. I hope everyone watched. I hope everyone practically watched. Model 1, Model 2, MVC 1, MVC 2, architecture diagrams, those videos. Come on. We develop Java web application using what architecture? MVC architecture. In MVC architecture, M for model layer, represent presentation logic, business logic plus persistence logic plus application data. It's like accounts officer, always busy giving data, boss. V for view layer, represents presentation logic. It is like a beautician. C for controller layer, represents integration logic or monitoring logic. It is like supervisor. It is like supervisor. Getting my point? It is like a supervisor, guys. Supervisor monitoring all the activities. Beautician concentrating on presenting data, right? MVC architecture says use different technologies to develop different logics in different layers of the web application and making them communicating with each other. And making them communicating with each other. That is all about MVC architecture or not? What this architecture says, guys, use different technologies to develop different logics in different layers of the web application and making them communicating with each other. Making them communicating with each other, right? Okay, boss. First of all, listen. The best architecture to develop Java web application in as the layered application is MVC, Model View Controller. The layered application means keeping different logics in different layers, bunch of classes and files together having same logic, and making them communicating with each other, and simply making them communicating with each other. Layered application is like 3 BHK, 4 BHK flat, guys. For everything, clarity is there, right? Bedroom 1, bedroom 2, reading room, hall, kitchen, everything is separately given. All things are separately given. Clear, my dear? We can develop MVC architecture web application either in Java or using Java technologies or Java frameworks. Java web technologies to develop the MVC architecture. Come on. Okay. Servlet JSP technologies, guys. Java web frameworks. Struts, JSF, Spring MVC, Tapestry, Spring Boot MVC. All these are Java web frameworks. These are frameworks. Spring Boot MVC is extension of Spring MVC, guys. Spring Boot MVC is extension of Spring MVC. And we can develop web MVC architecture web application using technologies, using frameworks. So now tell me, limitations of developing MVC architecture web application using Servlet JSP technologies. Simply using Servlet JSP technologies. Getting my point? Yeah, now listen. Total how many layers are there in MVC architecture? 3 layers are there. All logics of all layers must be developed by the programmer manually. This improves burden on the programmer or not? All logics of all layers, view layer, controller layer, model layer, should be developed by the programmers manually. This improves burden on the programs. This definitely improves burden on the programs. Right now, boss? Super. We need to remember and implement MVC rules, which is quite difficult for the programmers. There are rules to follow, guys. Data should go there, control should go there. We should remember and implement the rules, which is quite difficult for the programmers. Which is very, very difficult for the programmers. Next, we need to take care of navigation logics. We need to take care of navigation logics, flow of execution among the components manually, which is again quite complex work to perform. Which is again quite complex work to perform. Got the point, my dear? We need to take care of navigation logics, flow of execution among the components manually. It is quite, which is quite complex work to perform. Yeah, we have to manually take care of the flow of execution. Takes more time to develop and release the project. Why? We need to separate the logic. Different logics we should keep in different layers. We need to integrate them. We need to see communication between them. It takes a lot of time to complete the project and to release the project or not. Takes a lot of time to complete the project and release the project or not. I want reply, boss. To overcome all these problems, develop MVC architecture web application using MVC frameworks, and they give following advantages. Don't use technologies, use frameworks, boss. When you develop web application using framework, especially MVC architecture web application using framework, the following advantages are there. I already said, na boss. Frameworks are like fully automated washing machine. Do you need to take care of everything manually from scratch level? No. Okay. It provides a lot of abstraction on commonly happening things or not. Frameworks are like ready-made dress. Technologies are like purchasing the cloth, going to tailor, getting the stitching done, giving measurements, and a lot of hangama will be there. Stitching clothes on your own. It's like working with the technology. Stitching clothes using to overcome all these problems, take the support of MVC frameworks. And they give following advantages. What are the advantages, guys? Starting the construction of the house on your own. Starting the construction of the house on your own is like what, guys? Is like what? Is like what? I want reply. Working with the technologies to develop the applications, right? Every MVC framework gives built-in servlet called controller servlet. As controller servlet, front controller servlet. Taking care of navigation management, code flow execution. This reduces burden on the program. This seriously, literally reduces burden on the programmer or not? Okay. Controller servlet. Controller servlet, front controller servlet is ready-made servlet in frameworks, boss. You need not to develop. We need not to develop those things manually. which internally take care of navigation management. This will reduce the burden on the programmer or not. See, in different framework, different ready-made servlets are there acting as front controller servlet. That means which are taking care of navigation management. In action servlet in struts, faces servlet in JSF, dispatcher servlet in Spring MVC and Spring Boot MVC. We need not to develop the controller manually in MVC frameworks. We have ready-made servlet acting as a controllers. Creating car on our own without any support from company is like developing MVC architecture web application using Java JWE technologies. Is like advanced Java course, guys. Creating car. Creating car in the manufacturing company is like developing MVC architecture web application using MVC frameworks like Struts, Spring MVC, Spring Boot MVC, and etc. Okay. Here we are creating in our own, on our own, everything we should take care. Here we are getting car from car manufacturing company, boss. We need to write only view model layer logics. No need of writing controller layer logics. This reduces burden on the program. Say something, boss. We need to write only view comma model layer logics. No need of writing controller layer logics. This definitely reduces burden on the programmer or not. Yes, na boss. One layer is completely need not to develop. Super. Next, since front controller is ready-made servlet component, the MVC rule is implemented automatically. So this also reduces burden on the programmer. Front controller servlet is ready-made one. The MVC rules will be implemented automatically. Tell me, guys, this definitely reduces burden on the programmer. This definitely reduces burden on the programmer. What do you say, guys? This definitely reduces burden on the programmer, guys. Since ready-made front controller is there, everything will be taken care automatically. No headache. Take less time to develop the application. That means gives good productivity. Doing more work in less time with good accuracy is called productivity or not? Okay. Doing more work in less time with good accuracy. With good accuracy is nothing but getting good productivity. Getting good productivity. Productivity is nothing but getting good productivity. Comfortable, guys? Got the point, my dear? Super. Internally uses servlet and other technologies, but provide abstraction to the programmers. That means hide implementation details from the programmer. It simply hides the implementation details from the programmers. Clear, guys? Got the point, my dear? Clear, guys? Got the point, my dear guys? Internally uses Servlet JSP, Servlet and other technologies, but provides abstraction to the programmers. Super. It is industry standard to use frameworks in the development of the web application. In the development of the web application. Getting my point? So industry stopped working with what technologies for large scale projects and medium scale projects. Only small scale projects are happening using technologies. Only small scale projects are happening using technology. Okay, guys. Industry is using technologies support for developing small scale web applications. For developing small scale web applications. Tell me, what are the examples for it, guys? Okay, college websites. Okay, industry uses industry is using frameworks support for developing large scale web applications. Large scale web applications. Not only large scale, medium scale also. Medium scale, comma, large scale web applications. What are the examples, guys? Okay, university websites, e-commerce websites, and etc. Okay, how to build our own software product? Go to industry, find out the gap, start building the code. First of all, you should have a strong grip on the industry needs. Then you should be able to give technical solution for it. So that needs a lot of analysis, lot of designing, then coding. University website, e-commerce sites, and etc. Okay. It won't happen overnight, my dear. Who asked this question? Ranjit Kumar. It won't happen overnight. You should analyze where technology is lagging in the industry, which can be automated. Then we have to do market survey. If I implement software solution, how many people will use? What is money flow? Who are the target audience? Then you have to design the project, then coding. Got it? Different Java MVC frameworks was. Struts from Apache, JSF from Sun Microsystem. Now it is acquired by Oracle Corporation. Spring MVC, Spring Boot MVC from Interface 21. Pivotal team, guys. Tapestry from Adobe company. WebWork from Open Symphony company. Right now in the market, Spring MVC is number 1, JSF is number 2. Remaining things you need not to worry. Come on. But the good part, not only in Java environment, in other technology environment also, people are moving towards frameworks to develop medium scale and large scale applications. Now, in .NET they are doing, PHP they are doing, Python they are doing. Check it out. Not only in Java environment, in other technology domain also, the industry prefers using frameworks in the development of web applications. ASP.NET MVC is the .NET framework to develop the web application. Drupal, WordPress, and etc. are the PHP frameworks to develop the web applications. AngularJS, React.js are JavaScript frameworks. Django is the Python framework. So final conclusion is, if Java web application is small, then prefer Servlet JSP technologies to develop the website. Otherwise, prefer Java web framework to develop the same website. Already that point is given here now, boss. Okay, a lot of points I am covering, boss. Since I'm reading out the points which are already prepared, it looks very easy. But if I start typing only to write these points, a lot of time is required. Come on, come on. I hope are you getting clarity, boss? Which one is best in the industry? I didn't understand, guys. Small website, go for technology. Last one, this one. Okay, see, any complex commercial security need website is Java one. The small websites will be there other than Java. All MVC frameworks are designed around front controller servlet. That means all operations in MVC framework application takes place with respect to front controller servlet. With respect to front controller servlet. Clear, my dear? Simply with respect to front controller servlet. Literally with respect to front controller servlet. Solidly with respect to front controller servlet. Are you understanding my statement, guys? Everyone getting my point there, guys? Everyone understanding my statement, guys? What is front controller servlet? The special servlet component of web application that acts as entry and exit point for all the requests or specific multiple requests and applies common system services like security, logging, and etc. is called front controller servlet. Is called front controller servlet. Everyone getting my point there, guys? The special servlet component in web application that acts as entry and exit point for all requests or specific multiple requests, applies common system services like security, login, etc. is called front controller servlet. Okay, let's see, guys. Let's see. Is like security who stands in front of gate, guys. Is the security person who stand in front of gate, Bangla gate. Who stands in front of Bangla gate? Recollect that one. Yeah, he will trap the person. He will trap the people who are entering into Bangla, checks them. He will trap the people and delegates them to go to which room, which portion of the Bangla. While exiting also again he will trap the people, again checks them. So front controller is like what? What is that? Acts as entry and exit point for all the requests or specific multiple requests and applies common system services like what? Security, logging and etc. is called front controller servlet. Clear, my dear? Got it? The front controller servlet takes care of navigation management, guys. Decides the flow from request to response. Decides the flow from request to response. Got it? Decides the flow from request to response, guys. Decides the flow from request to response. Action management. Decides the classes should be used for request processing. Using which classes the given request should be processed. View management. Decides the HTML or HTML JSP file should be used for result processing or formatting. Are using which HTML or JSP component the results should be formatted. Model management decides how to pass results or data from Java classes to view components. Talks about flow of execution. Talks about using which classes request should be processed. Using which JSP or HTML file results should be formatted. Talks about how to pass data from, tell me, how to pass data from, what is that, controller components to view components. Controller components to view components. Got it? Super, guys. Now, navigation management. Decide the flow of execution across the multiple components to process the request and generate the response. Action management. Decides which class should be used for which request for processing the request, right? View management decides which technology and which name view component should be used to format the generated results after processing the request. Model management talks about how to pass data, data specific to each request from Java classes to view component, where request is processed to view component, where results are formatted. Super, guys. Tell me, in MVC architecture, guys, model classes in MVC applications are service classes, DAO classes, Java beans, and etc. They are called model component. View components are like HTML, JS, and JS component. JS means JavaScript components, guys. JS means JavaScript components. Super. Controller class is what? Servlet component. It's a ready-made servlet in MVC framework. It's these two things we develop, guys. Developed by the program. Developed by the program. Yes, this is ready-made in MVC frameworks. Ready-made in MVC frameworks. Front controller plus MVC architecture based web application architecture. MVC architecture based web application. Have a look, guys. This is the diagram. Not only MVC architecture, front controller is also decided. Okay, browser is giving request. Who traps and takes the request? Front controller. Front controller servlet. Right now, boss? Okay, now tell me. Front controller delegates the request to whom, guys? Front controller delegates the request to whom? Controller class, action class, boss, action class. Listen, action class either process the request or delegates the request to the other class where request processing is possible. Okay, what is good, guys? Direct processing request or passing to other class? Passing to other class where request processing can be done. So that's why in the service class, request processing logic is there. That's why delegating. Delegating means what, guys? Passing. Delegating means what, guys? Passing. Okay. Next. Service class talks to DAO class, where persistence logic is there, using which we locate and talk with the database software, and we perform persistence operations on database software. And we perform persistence operations on database software. Got it, my dear? Okay. From database, results will come. Those results will come to DAO. DAO passes to service. Service passes to action class. Action class passes to whom? Controller. Controller will give those results to what? View component. View component. Their results are formatted using presentation logic. Okay. Formatted results came back to controller servlet, front controller servlet, and finally they pass it to browser. Finally, they pass it to browser. Right now, boss? Full and finally, they pass it to browser. Full and finally, they pass it to browser. Right now, boss? If you place only business logic in action class, then it is called model layer component. If you place delegation logic to interact with service and DAO classes, then it is called controller component, controller layer component. What is that, guys? Controller layer component. Which is good job, guys. Delegation logic is good at delegation means passing to other one. Controller layer component. Controller layer components. Yeah, check it out. Front controller, controller layer. JSPR HTML file where presentation logic is there, view layer. Action class comes under controller layer, right? Service class comes under model layer. DAO class comes under model layer, right? Because they are dealing with business logics and presentation logics. These are dealing with business logics and presentation logics. Convinced, my dear? Got the point, my dear? Okay. Why delegation logic is better? Huh? Already service class is there to have a business logic now, boss. Come on. Service is there, dedicatedly there to have a business logic, right? So that's why better not to write business logic directly in the action class. Better to write in what? Service class. Better to write in what? Service class. Super. First one is recommended, second one is recommended. Second one is recommended. Recommended. This is recommended. Second one is definitely recommended. What do you say, boss? It's a good programming practice, guys. It's a good programming practice, right? Right. Tell me, guys, how to make one servlet taking multiple requests. That means servlet should have a special URL pattern. Come on, come on. Servlet should have a special URL pattern. So, front controller servlet. Front controller servlet is predefined servlet. Servlet component. Its configuration in web.xml file is mandatory to make the servlet container recognizing. Okay. The ready-made front controller servlet. Ready-made front controller servlet component. The ready-made front controller servlet component. The ready-made front controller servlet component. Everyone getting my point there, guys? Ready-made front controller servlet component. Though front controller servlet is predefined servlet component, its configuration in web.xml file is mandatory to make servlet container recognizing ready-made front controller servlet. Now I'll ask one question, guys. This front controller servlet should trap and take one request or all requests or only few requests? Multiple requests or all requests? For that one, we need to configure them with a special URL pattern. To make the front controller servlet component. To make the front controller servlet component, trapping and taking either multiple requests or all requests. We need to configure that servlet component. Come on. Either with extension match URL patterns or directory match URL pattern. Either with extension match URL pattern or with directory match URL pattern. Cool guys, got the point, my dear. Extension match URL pattern. /x/y star. /x/y star. This is extension match, guys. In the beginning, X and Y should be there. In the place, anything can be there. So it will be whoever whose request URL is having /x and /y. After that, any word, that request will be trapped or not? That request will be trapped or not? I want reply, my dear. Extension match URL pattern. Next one. Directory match URL pattern. Directory match URL pattern. *do. Array, in the beginning, anything can be there, boss. But at the end, .do should be there in the request URL, right? .do should be there in the request URL. So it becomes ready to trap any request that is having .do extension in the URL. That is having .do extension in the URL, guys. That is having .do extension in the URL. Extension match URL pattern. Directory match URL pattern. Okay. These are just examples, boss. Just example. Directory match URL pattern example. Extension. Oh, I think reverse, huh? Okay, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. It's a reverse, guys. I think in my mind it is there, but in the these are like looking like directories, right? These are looking like directories. What do you say, boss? Directory match URL. /x/y looking directories. See, boss, 100 URLs are there. Okay. First URL, x/y/a, x/y/b, x/y/c, x/y/d, x/y/h. Now tell me, boss, it is going to trap all the requests because x and y is commonly there now, boss. Why front controller should have a special URL pattern? Tell me. It should trap only one request or multiple requests. It should trap only one request or multiple requests. Definitely it should trap multiple requests. Definitely it should trap all the requests. Right now, boss? Definitely it should trap all the requests. Are you understanding my statement, my dear? So for that purpose, okay, what is the meaning? Traps all the requests whose URLs contain /x/y. /x/y. Traps all the requests whose URLs contain .do. Whose URLs contain .do. .do word at the end. At the end. At the end, boss. Okay, boss. /x/y star dot. Okay, guys. Special URL pattern /boss. Just slash. Traps all the requests and traps all the requests irrespective of any condition. irrespective of any conditions. Perhaps all the requests irrespective of any condition. No condition is applied. This is special case, guys. Special URL pattern slash. If I configure front controller servlet with slash URL pattern, it traps all the requests irrespective of any condition. No condition is applied. Why, sir? Front controller is acting as a entry and exit point for all the requests or not entry. That's why it should have a special URL pattern or not. That's why it must have a special URL pattern. What do you say, guys? It must and should have a special URL pattern. Convinced, my dear? Got the point, my dear? Okay. So, first of all, no, I will give one video which talks about URL patterns. Where is this? What is our full stack? Today is just introduction. At least you got idea. Why should we develop applications using frameworks? At least you got idea. Why should we develop application using frameworks? Problems with the technology-based web application. Assignment. Spring MVC part 1. Spring MVC part 1. Upload. Browse. Upload, browse. Where is this? Class content. Spring, guys. Where is Spring? Spring, guys, 64. Spring MVC. This is the story. No, only backward slash, guys. Forward slash is meaning different. Forward slash is not allowed in the URL pattern. If you know servlets, URL pattern slash is always backward slash, right? Okay. Next, go to streaming, guys. Different types of servlet URL patterns, right? Yes. A minute. Servlet URL pattern. Bharat Kumar, you like this, you can give any examples now. Where is stress from that time? URL pattern. Servlet URL patterns. Already given in servlet class, already given. The people who are attending these classes, was for them required or not required? This is 4 p.m. Streaming, guys. Yes, servlet URL pattern. And 3 types of URL patterns are there, right? What are those? What are those? Extension match URL pattern, directory match URL pattern. Yes, now, boss. And exact match URL pattern. Generally, we give exact match URL pattern. But for a special servlet like front controller, we should give either directory match URL pattern or extension match URL. We should give either directory match URL pattern or extension match URL pattern. Understanding my statement? Okay. Everyone getting my point here, guys? So I think you understood the importance of frameworks. Why should we learn frameworks? You got the idea? You got the idea? Where should we use frameworks? What is the role of frameworks? Got it? So when we meet in next session, guys, we are going to discuss a lot about, we are going to speak a lot about, what is that? Okay. Dispatcher servlet. Spring MVC dispatcher servlet. So don't miss. Introduction is very, very important. Thank you. Have a nice